including red laser sights, green laser sights, and tactical weapon lights to elevate your confidence in moments that matter. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Welcome to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, where there's more to talk about than shooting. There's reloading and hunting and self-defense, too.
All right, glad that you could be with us. Heck, I'm just happy to be anywhere. Tom Gresham here. We're having some fun talking about guns and shooting and safety and self-defense and training and practice and what kind of ammo and what kind of gun. And I don't care if you are interested in pheasant hunting or self-defense or long-range shooting competition, or you want to know, how do I keep my guns safely at the house and yet still have access to a gun if I need it for self-defense? Always a good question. I can help you with the answer if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in. All you have to do is give me a call, ask a question. There are, as we say, no stupid questions. We will work you through. Even if you're thinking, I don't know nearly as much as those people. That's okay. I don't know as much as a lot of folks, too, and I ask questions, so just jump right in. It's pretty easy. Our number here is 866-TALK-GUN. Or easier, if you just remember, my name is Tom, so call Tom Talk Gun. That'll get you in here. Of course, in the news, we see all these stories about the marches of people who are demanding gun control. Gun control, of course, is a kind way of saying gun bans because it is moved from, they've always wanted the bans, but they were always afraid to say it. Occasionally they would say, well, we do need to get rid of X, and they would pick a particular category of gun because they knew they couldn't get them all. They wanted them all. And then you have, of course, Beto O'Rourke saying, yes, we're going to take your AR-15s, your AK-47s. Not just banning the sale of guns, actually confiscating guns. That's where they're going. So you get all these marches out there and all these groups, and you're thinking, they don't represent me. That's not who I am. I don't know anybody who actually belongs to those. Something doesn't seem quite right. Well, somebody who looked at that and said, something doesn't seem quite right, joins us right now. Mary Callison from 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control. Hey, Mary, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am great. So what is this group anyway?
So our group came out actually in 2013, and the founder of the group, Heather Marchese, had seen basically when Shannon Watts and her group came out, they were right away 1 million moms for gun control.
Right.
And apparently she had gone online and was, asking questions, kind of debating back and forth, and she would get shut down right away. Right. And so seeing that Shannon Watts came out as this mom who supposedly spoke for all mothers or, gave this air that she did, that all moms were against guns and all this, she decided to start 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control, to be the pro-gun mom voice, to say, no, we use our guns, they're tools, in order to effectively defend not only ourselves but our families. And our children are important, and we need those tools to be able to protect them as well. So it was born out of basically seeing that one mom tried to talk for all moms on one side of it. So there's always two sides to a debate, and she decided to start this group. And I went looking, I don't even remember why, or how I stumbled upon it, but I basically came in looking for it, seeing the same thing, like, oh my goodness, Obama's on there with the kids after the Newtown shooting, and my kids, my oldest was about the same age as those kids, and, as a mom, you grieve for them, but you know that the answer wasn't banning something, used in a small amount of these tragic events. It's countering, it's education, it's getting out there and talking to more people. And so I went looking and stumbled upon the group somehow and decided I need to join. I need to do something. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, you know what? A lot of it, you just looked at it and said, and I can't tell you how many women I have talked to who say, this whole moms demand action, basically it's a gun ban group. They don't speak to me. Yeah. Or they don't speak for me. I am a mom, right. And I don't want the public to think that all women are in favor of gun control, and that's the message. Well, look, for those who don't know, Shannon Watts is a media professional. That's what she does. And she has been hired by Michael Bloomberg, the gun ban president he wants to be, who just announced for presidency, and he is funding the Moms Demand Action. He is funding the Everytown for Gun Safety, the phony gun safety groups. She is a marketing expert. Oh yeah, and by the way, I am now blocked. I went on her Twitter feed and just asked a couple of questions, and I guess that's a badge of honor when you get blocked by Shannon Watts, because they really don't want anybody. It's not that they don't want dissenting views. They don't even want to answer your questions, do they?
No. You get blocked as fast as you can, counter with an actual fact. You're not yelling at them. You're not fighting.
Right.
You're just giving a factual, or questioning. Okay, where's your info coming from so I can look it up myself? And they don't have it. Or it comes from a Moms Demand Action group. It's coming from,
they create
they're paid for people.
Right. They create their own papers, their own research, and then they quote them. But to their credit, they are very good at getting media attention, because whether they buy it or they basically they can fly people in, and we're going to meet with the editorial board of the New York Times or the Washington Post or CNN, and we're going to feed them the stories. So what is 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control going to do?
Well, they have the benefit of having a whole lot of money behind them. So currently right now, myself and Rebecca Schmoy, we're currently running. We kind of took over about a year and a half ago, and we've been kind of trying to change up as much as possible. But if there's an opportunity, the day that they had that, it was last spring in, what year is it now, 2018, is when they had the March for Our Lives.
All right.
Well, I drove an hour towards the city, because I moved about an hour and a half away from all the more anti-gun stuff. But we knew the media was going to be there. And sometimes if you can't get them to pay you attention, you have got to go where there's going to be media, national media or large city media, and you have to do your best to try to get in front of that, at least get an interview, at least get their ear, and that's what we were able to do. So if they're not going to give us the time like Shannon Watts and all them seem to get, we have to go find it and be able to present our side sometimes. So we did do a few interviews with that. If we can find them in other cities, we do the same thing. But we don't have the money to buy the airtime. They've got the money to buy the airtime, have their commercials, and that's one of our biggest our issues is they get the ear of their politicians so easily, and they get the ear of the mainstream media because they've got the money to do so.
Well, what's the goal when you say 1 million moms? I'm thinking you don't have that yet. So is that the goal?
You know what? We don't, but I bet you that there are really 1 million moms, 1 million women, 1 million men, in the U.S. and worldwide that do support guns, that do support our right to bear arms and that, So I don't know if we'll ever reach 1 million followers. I hope we do. And that's kind of a running joke we get is, you get people, they think they're, giving this big dig into us about, oh, you don't have 1 million, women. It's like, no, the purpose was actually at the beginning to counter Moms Demand's name and kind of steal some of their thunder.
And by the way, they don't have 1 million either, so it's okay.
Exactly.
I do love. I'm looking at your website. Those who remember the story about the kid who got kicked out of school for eating a Pop-Tart in the shape of a gun.
Yes.
You had the great pastry protest. I love that.
So things like that, where you're able to try to get other people involved in awareness. I think they did some things with Shanine Allen too in Pennsylvania, or was it New Jersey?
New Jersey.
I guess I'm all over the place. And things like that where we can try to get involved and get the ear of some of our followers and some of the other networking opportunities we've had. We've kind of evolved a little bit more. Our group is not only do we, continue to try to empower women and get them into the shooting sports and education, but we really, right now, what we really need to do as gun owners is all groups, we all really need to unite. And we need to do exactly what the other side does, and they organize very, very well. And we find we have difficulty doing that. So what our group is really trying to do is become a liaison, working to get people hooked up in each state with their local rifle associations, with those local big groups in each state, instead of trying to continue to, start new gun groups in each state. We're trying to drive people into those established ones and trying to work together with all of them. And also to promote people, like Derek LeBlanc with the Kids Safe Foundation. We're trying to get, be able to be that page that we can help bring together other groups and get people as involved as possible. Men, women, not
Right.
only moms.
And-
I think
and
that's the misnomer, but.
And of course, we have other groups of women who are getting together around the shooting sports or around self-defense. You got the well-armed women, you got a girl and a gun, you got some others. I don't know if you're working with some of those groups as well.
Yes, that's who we're trying to get a lot of people to. Actually, I am looking over the winter time because I'm up here in northern Illinois, and there's not a whole lot of fun stuff to do out here in winter. But working on getting my own certification and, doing that with a girl and a gun. And a lot of the women that are in that program and some of the other ones, I also volunteer with the DC project that Diana Muller started.
Sure.
And so being able to network with all these ladies nationwide, I mean, we just keep building this awesome group of people, no matter what group you rep, DC Project or 1 Million Moms. It's not about us individually. It's about all of us trying to get together, and organize together to keep standing up for our gun rights. And,
and honestly, when you and other women stand up and get in front of cameras, you frankly get more attention than the guys do when you say, we do not support gun control. Our children are precious, and they are so important to us. We're willing to use guns to defend them. All of a sudden, you're the anti-Shannon Watts, and you get people's attention. If people want to know more about it, what's your website? How do they know about it?
They can head over to 1mmagc.org. That's our main website, and we have a couple different things on there. Otherwise, we do put a lot on Facebook, and they can just look up 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control on Facebook, and then 1mmagc on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Very good. Mary, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending time with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. We are absolutely open lines. So if you have something to say, give me a holler. If you think that gun people are just a wee bit crazy, I'd love to hear why. I'll shut up and just let you talk. In the meantime, I'll have the story about shooting with the Michelicks and what I learned. Amazing stuff, amazing people. We'll be right back.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. Galleryofguns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Smith & Wesson announces a new rebate for the popular M&P 9 Shield and M&P 380 Shield EZ pistols. Qualifying purchases made between October 14th and December 8th are eligible for a $50 prepaid card. Terms and conditions apply. Visit smith-wesson.com/shield 2019 for complete details. More than 3 million people have chosen the M&P Shield family of pistols for their personal protection needs. Shouldn't you?
Give away things around here. We've got a new giveaway going on. This one's going to end December 13th, so it's not really that long between now and then. We're calling it the Fall-A-Day giveaway. It's kind of fall holiday. Yeah, put it together. Okay, holiday. Grand prize is worth $5,300. Alien gear carry prize package. The Shapeshift Core Carry Pack, Grip Tuck Universal Holster, 2-holster combo, ATN Thor LT 3-6 thermal rifle scope. That is serious stuff. Thermal rifle scope. Federal Premium is going to give away a case of trophy bonded tip 308 and 2 cases of Hydroshock deep 9mm ammo. Liberty Safe, you're going to get a special edition Colonial 23 flag safe, Mantis X10 shooting performance system, and, oh yeah, not to be outdone, how about 2 guns from Ruger? Ruger Security 9 Compact and an American Hunter rifle in 308. You go to guntalk.com/win. Yep, same old one. guntalk.com/win. Some really cool stuff there. There's grand prize, and then there's 3 first prizes. It's all listed right there. 866 Talk Gun. I mentioned I was at Gunsight this past week. We're doing some stuff with Mossberg. They're introducing some new guns. So we're shooting, I guess I could say this, because, Mossberg brought out, well, let me back up. A lot of us have been around a long time. We think of Mossberg as a shotgun company. And they are. The 500 is a staple of military, law enforcement, hunters, and, of course, they've had semi-autos. And then, they have bolt-action rifles. And, they have lever-action rifles. And they have 22s. And then last year they brought out a really nice single-stack, subcompact 9mm pistol, the MC1SC. Very nice pistol. Shoots well. And, of course, they've gotten very much into the 3-gun with their the JM Pro, JM being Jerry Michalik, their shotgun. Oh, yeah, they also have ARs, the MSRs. So, they are a full-line gun company. So we're shooting shotguns, we're shooting handguns, we're having a ball, and they bring out Jerry and Lena Michalik. They are unbelievable. I assume you know who Jerry is, fastest revolver shooter ever. And Lena, his daughter, world champion shooter, all, 21, 22 years old of her. Little skinny thing. I think she must burn like 12,000 calories a day, got that hummingbird metabolism. And I mentioned skinny, but not as a body shaming thing, but to make a point. I don't know, I've never asked what Lena weighs, but I would certainly can't be 120. Maybe it's 110. Could be 100 pounds. She's small. She's little. And she's out there shooting 12-gauge shotguns. Now we come to the point of the whole thing. With the recoil of 12-gauge shotguns. And, of course, in the events that she competes in, you have to shoot fast and you have to hit targets. Not clay targets, usually. Well, there may be a few. But generally, it's steel targets. And you're shooting birdshot and slugs. And she is showing us how to do quad loading, grab 4 shells at a time and shove them in these guns and do speed loading. But more than that, she's talking about how she experiments constantly. How can I make this happen? How can I shoot faster? How can I keep the muzzle on target through recoil of 12-gauge? And then to make the point, this little thing with a 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun, she shoots right-handed. She puts it on her shoulder, holds it with one arm. She currently has a broken wrist, left wrist. Kind of makes the point. She puts her left wrist behind her left hand behind her back, and she bears down on this target out at about 15 yards with birdshot, and she shoots 8 shots as fast as you could pull the trigger, faster than I could pull the trigger, and all 8 shots are on target, controlling recoil with her body, with her stance, with her grip, with the way she works her muscles, and with her concentration. And she's making a point about this. It was really seriously impressive. It really was. And then Jerry, I didn't realize this. Somebody said, he's got to use a special timer because he's got a shot timer there, right? And he's shooting shotgun. And I said, what do you mean? They said, a normal shot timer won't work fast enough. He has to use the model that will actually time the splits between shots on a submachine gun. Really? And then he starts shooting. We're talking about his splits are 12 and 13. 12 hundredths of a second, 13 hundredths of a second between shots, And he's not just pulling the trigger, he's shooting the target. Oh, yeah, he's not just shooting the target. He's shooting 3 different targets and moving the gun between targets and getting splits of 12 hundredths of a second between shots. He shoots so fast that with a lot of guns, he actually has to wait for the action to work. He's sitting there waiting for a semi-automatic gun to cycle so he can pull the trigger again, because they are generally slow, and that's why he's been working with Mossberg and getting these things shooting faster and doing all kind of stuff. It was a hoot. I learned a lot. What I learned was that there are people out there who are superhuman. They are the Michael Jordans of the world, and Jerry is in his 60s and shooting those kind of times. You know, yes, he works hard at it, and he's shot a lot, and he's trained a lot, but there's got to be at least some element of a gift from God. I mean, it's a true athletic ability. It's really something amazing. Tell you what, before the break here, let's go talk to Mike on line 1. He's out of Moscow, Idaho. Hey, Mike, what's on your mind here, sir?
Well, Tom, I wanted to give you a range report of something that's pretty old, but okay. I know you're shoot a rifle left-handed, and I am left-handed. Okay. So back in 71, I took my overtime money from a seed warehouse while I was working going to college, went out to my part-time job at a gun store, told the boss, I want a Ruger number 1 and 6mm. And he said, I don't have one, but I just got one today you need to look at. And it was a Ruger number 1 and 25-06. Oh, nice. I've been hunting with it for 49 years. And I was telling your programmer that I thought about buying another hunting rifle, and I go, why? I won't ever shoot it.
And it's a completely ambidextrous rifle, too.
That's what I told him. I said, I'm left-handed, and it's left-handed, and if it's right-handed, it's right-handed. But I've killed elk. I've never had an elk take over 3 steps after I shot it. I used the Nosler bullet. Now I'm using the Barnes bullets. The deer, I've had them go 50 yards dead.
That is terrific. And I love the 25-06. I think it is very much underrated. 25 calibers are terrific, and we're getting better bullets for them all the time. What are you shooting? What rifle is it that you just absolutely love? 866-TALK-GUN.
I heard the click, click, click of her stiletto heels coming down the hall. And I caught her perfume before she opened the door to my office. And she stood there looking like $1,000,000 tax-free. I want to talk to you, she said. Come back later, I said. I'm listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk right now.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have fun around here no matter what we're doing. Welcome back. Tom Gresham here. The number is 866-TALK-GUN. We're open lines. If there's a question you have or a bone you want to pick with me, by all means, give me a holler. I'm up to it. We can handle it. Let's see here. Line 2. Sue is with us out of Toledo, Ohio. Thanks for your patience, Sue. You're on Gun Talk.
Okay. I want to stand up for the store representative who did not take a person in a uniform that you can buy probably at any location on earth as a party store and took him at his word and got people on the phone who said they were so-and-so. I could get a whole bunch of my friends to call in to a store owner and tell them they were somebody else. And he followed the rules. Mm-hmm. If you don't like the rules, then just get them changed. But do not fault the store owner or representative for not selling ammunition to a stranger. I don't care how much paperwork he had. He didn't have the right piece of paperwork, and that was the important part. Had that man sold that, and then he went out and shot a lot of people, they'd have been all over that guy and put him up for charges.
I don't think the caller was having a problem with the gun store at all. I didn't hear that at all. I think the caller was just simply saying he thought that the law itself was foolish, but I don't think he was having a problem with the store. Did you?
Well, I took it that way, yes, that he was faulting the store owner because they kept getting somebody else to come in and you know, represent the store, and they did all this stuff, and they still wouldn't sell it. Well, if he was taking the side of changing the law, then I'm on his side, too. But that's not the way I heard it. And the way I heard it was that you were faulting the guy trying to buy, or faulting the guy not selling it. So if that wasn't the case, then I'm out of line.
The gun store is just stuck. It's stuck in a terrible place. I mean, it's a terrible law. It's an awful law. And the very idea that you have to say, Mother, may I please buy ammunition for my gun, and ask the government for permission it's like saying, may I please buy a book? Because, we're going to restrict.
It was the amount of ammunition that the guy was trying to purchase
I buy 10,000 rounds at a time. Is that a problem?
For me? No. You're out in California.
No, I'm not.
Where you at?
I'm in Louisiana. Where are you?
Oh, Toledo, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Louisiana.
I took it you were out in California from I've never listened to your station before. I just happened to run across it when a guy was talking about the store, and I thought, wait a minute, what's this all about?
No, I know a lot of people who buy 10,000 rounds of ammunition at a time. So 2,000. He was looking for 2,000. That's not a lot of ammo at all.
But do you walk in the store like he did?
Yeah. Obviously, sure.
And do you have anything to show who you are? Do the people know you at the store?
Thank God nobody asks, because nobody's required to. Nobody should ever have to supply any information about buying ammo. You should be able to buy as much as you want anytime you want.
But is there rules that says you can or cannot?
Only in
I'm
the state
76, and I don't own a gun.
Okay.
I got one when I was 16, fired it twice, and it's sitting upstairs somewhere.
Okay,
I've always thought I'd like to get a handgun.
Yeah, this is a new law that just went into effect in California. In the rest of the country, you do not have to do that. You don't have to show any identification in most places. You could just buy ammo. It's not a big deal. But they have this new law in California where you actually have to, believe it or not, submit to a background check before you could even buy one single round of ammunition for your squirrel rifle, of all things. It's
I whether that's right or wrong, and gun people would go one way, and other people who may not want guns at all would go the other. Mm-hmm. But my point was, if you've got a rule, you got to follow it, and if you don't like the rules, change it.
Oh, I agree. I think we are violently in agreement here, Sue.
Good. All right.
Okay.
It didn't sound like that from that guy's conversation, so that's why I took the time to try and get a hold of you and tell you my thoughts.
I appreciate it more than you know. I really do, and I appreciate your enthusiasm about the whole thing. But yeah, if that's the law, you follow the law. If you don't like the law, change the law. I mean, I think that's exactly where we land on the deal. I just think it's a bad law. Unfortunately, in California, they can't change it because they have all Democrats in the legislature, and they can't do anything about it. But I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. All right, tell you what, quick break here. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. Sheila, you are up next. When we come back, we'll be right back.
Brownells.com is your home for all things firearms. Looking for a retro rifle? How about the BRN 180 or 180S? Named one of SHOT Show's best products of 2019. Visit Brownells.com for guns, ammo, reloading equipment, or anything you need to customize your firearm. And enjoy the industry's only guaranteed forever satisfaction policy. To stay up to date with the latest and best deals from Brownells, text BRN to 556-223.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
Mental health and guns. At Walk the Talk America, we are working with both the mental health community and the gun industry. Created by a gun industry veteran, Walk the Talk America seeks to raise awareness and create change through suicide prevention and firearm safety without legislation. We strive to eliminate the prejudice that firearms and mental health face. For more information and to support Walk the Talk America, please visit walkthetalkamerica.org.
All right, back with you, 866-TALK-GUN. Tom Gresham here. Sheila's with us out of Miami, Oklahoma on line 4. Sheila, thank you for your patience. How can I help you?
Yes, I was wondering if the 308 was the right size gun to go hunting for elk.
Okay. 308 will work very well for elk. A lot of elk have been killed with 308. The key is to have good bullets because there are a lot of different kinds of bullets and different weights and construction. And for me, if I were shooting an elk, I would want probably a 150 to 180 grain bullet made of what we call a controlled expansion. It's made tough for shooting elk. Are you hunting, or is it somebody else got to go hunting?
I'm hunting. Somebody's going to take me hunting.
Oh, good. I think the 308 would work just fine. Like I say, just find good ammunition, good bullets, and it should work for you. I wish you lots of luck. And look, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Leo is in Little Rock, Arkansas, line 1. Hello, Leo. You're on Gun Talk.
Hello. I am an ex-con.
Mm-hmm.
I committed a crime almost 15 years ago. I done my time and everything. However, today's society has gotten so out of hand. I have an issue with not being able to protect myself or my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel it's right to be punished my entire life. Even though I committed a violent crime, that doesn't mean I would ever do it again. Do you see any foresight in this ever changing for folks like me?
I do, perhaps. Let me ask you a question. Were you convicted?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Wait.
Let me ask you a question. Did you go to jail?
Yes, I served time.
Okay, so you're done. You served your sentence. You've done the whole deal. My attitude, okay, this is my take on it. I don't think there should be additional penalties. You should not lose any of your rights for life after you have served your time, and then maybe you had a period of parole or probation after that. It's over. When it's over, it's over. Now, there is a case, let me just tell you, that's two things. One, there's a case that's working its way through the courts right now, and it's because we have to have a way to get into this, but there's a fellow who was convicted of a nonviolent crime of tax evasion, didn't go to jail for a year, but could have been sentenced to a year, and because he could have been, he falls under the lifetime ban on gun ownership. So we're challenging that, and that has a good chance to move forward. Here's the problem we face. It was about, 20 years ago. The Democrats in Congress took out the funding for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF. You used to be able to apply to the ATF to get your rights back, your gun rights back, after a period of time. The Democrats took the funding away from ATF and said, you can't process this. There's no more second chances for anyone. They won't release the rights on this. So they won't release the money so they could give you back your rights. I hope, you would think, gee, we could come in there and say, look, people should be given a second chance. The problem, just from a pure political standpoint here, okay, the problem is none of the elected politicians want to be the first ones to stand up and say, I think we should allow convicted felons to have guns. From a political standpoint, that's difficult. But I think it could be sold, and I think it could be done in such a way where we say people should be given a second chance. If you've paid your debt to society, the way you have, Leo, I don't think there's any reason that you shouldn't have your rights back. So there's a possibility. I know we're working a case through the courts right now, and if we could get it done for the nonviolent, maybe we can get it done for the violent, or maybe we, at the very least, could fund ATF so you could apply for and get your rights back. I don't know if that helps you, but it kind of describes the landscape right now.
I would certainly hope so. I would think that it would be a humanitarian right to protect oneself and one's family.
How long ago was that when you were convicted?
Almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been a productive member of society since then. I've really cleaned up my life. I've really moved forward in life, and I have the rights to my children back. I have, my own property. I'm productive,
Right.
I have many of my friends are police officers now. My life has truly changed, but I'm still punished the rest of my life.
For the rest, and this would be even if it had been 40 years ago, the same thing applies. It is a lifetime sentence, and I just think it's wrong. I'm with you all the way. And I know there are some folks in the gun community who think, no, yeah, you ought to lose your rights forever. I don't agree on that one. I think if you've served your time or you've done your sentence, you paid your debt to society, there should not be, oh, yeah, plus you're going to lose your constitutionally guaranteed rights forever. There's just something wrong with that. And thank you. I appreciate the call, Leo. And the other thing is, of course, you got the Lautenberg Amendment, which is, 15 years old now, where that actually applies not just for felons, but for those who have been convicted of misdemeanor crimes of domestic violence. So you got into a shoving match with your wife 30 years ago in the middle of a nasty divorce. And she files charges, and your lawyer 30 years ago says, look, it's a $25 fine. Pay the fine, make it go away. Never imagining that sometime in the future there would be a law passed that would be ex post facto, retroactive forever. And now, because you have this $25 fine that you paid, you are prohibited from owning guns for the rest of your life. That was what Frank Lautenberg gave us, the Lautenberg Amendment. It is horrendous. It's the only time I know of that you lose rights for the conviction of a misdemeanor. I tell you, it is the mess. I don't know, Jim, do we have time for one more before the break, or are we going to bring them on the backside? Okay, we do have time. Okay, Steve is in Omaha. Got a range report for us on 2. Hey, Steve, you're in.
Yes, sir. Hey, yeah. I'm sitting here butchering my deer, and
I love it.
I was talking to my son. We were doing a little dry fire drill before that, and he was saying, Dad, I wonder such and such about so and so, and then we're tackling the active shooter at school. And I said, what? He goes, oh yeah, we have active shooter training. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah, we had this thing in their school that they were doing active shooter training. And I thought, okay, this is cool. Tell me about it. Because, see, I go to school board meetings every once in a while.
Okay.
And I talk to these guys about, I gave them John Lott's book, and I give them other stuff, and they all go, we're hiding behind the state law that we can't do anything because state law says we can't we can't arm teachers. And I told them that. I called them out on it. Well, this was months ago.
Okay,
well,
so tell me about the drill. Tell me about the drill.
Okay, so they take turns in the hall or in the classroom where there'll be a bunch of kids storm the shooter and tackle him, step on the gun, and hold him down. They just, 7 or 8 people hop on him and hold him down, and the other 7 or 8 escape and call whatever. And then they take turns so that everybody gets a chance to run or fight. There's no, they're not teaching them hide anymore, which is good. It's run or fight. So I said, well, is this faster or is this NRA? He goes, Dad, I don't know, but there's a local gun shop, Tactical 88 Tactical here in Omaha that is teaching. The teacher is teaching it. I don't know who wrote the curriculum, but he said, Dad, it's the same guy that taught our AR class. So he's
well, that's promising. I kind of like the sound of that. Well, look, I appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm running up against my time limit on this deal, but as you find out more about it, if you would, and I love the fact that you're going to school board meetings. Huge attaboy on that. More of us should be doing that one. Let me know what you find out about it, because this sounds interesting. Now, the very idea of teaching kids they're supposed to run and tackle a guy who's in there. The other thing is, we just learned earlier in the show, there are about 4 school shootings a year. 4 the last 10 years, 41 over the last 10 years. So if there's only 4 a year, are we traumatizing our kids to put them through this kind of training? 866-TALK-GUN. Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN. By the way, if you'd like to join us for the after show, call us right now. We'll get you in there. Just easy. Tom Talk Gun is the easiest way. Just give me a holler. You'll be a part of the craziness that is the after show. And if you haven't heard the after show, shame on you. You can get it wherever you get your podcast, or of course you can listen to it off your Gun Dealio app. And if you have an Android phone, I know, Google Play doesn't have Gun Dealio. Not a problem. Go to gundealio.com, gundealio.com, and you can download it for your Android phone right there. Ron's with us out of Muskogee, Oklahoma, line 5. Ron, you're up, please.
Tom, I was really interested in the caller that called in with the felony.
Mm-hmm.
And because his story was very, very close to mine, it happened a very long time ago. Back in 1984, I was convicted of a felony, 35 years. It did not involve a weapon of any kind. It was a verbal thing. They called it intimidation of a witness, which is, I've had lawyers tell me that I should not have ever been charged with that because there was no case pending to intimidate a witness. And for a small fee of only $6,000, they'll do all the paperwork to prepare to be presented to the Pardon and Parole Board in the state of Oklahoma. And I guess depending on which way what kind of bad hair day they may be having, there's no guarantees.
Well, let me tell you, I looked this up, and this case I mentioned that is being pursued right now is in the District of, the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. It's a Montana resident, Gregory Reyes, R-E-Y-E-S, and he is suing the U.S. government and the ATF to try to get his rights back and to say, look, the law that says that you are a prohibited person for life is unconstitutional. Not just that we can apply to get our rights back, but it shouldn't be the law in the first place. And that would be the case. You wouldn't have to pay this money at all. So, I mean, that's what we're looking for, Ron.
Yeah, I'm looking for where he did time. They convicted me of that charge, and they did not even give me a year. The judge specified 364 days, which means that I did not have to go to a state penitentiary. I served my time, believe it or not, in a county lockup.
But the thing is, and I want people to understand this, it's not that you didn't go to jail for a year. It's that you could have been sentenced to more than a year. And that was the case of this gentleman, Reyes. It was a tax evasion deal, and he wasn't sentenced to a year, but he could have been, and that's the way the law is. And if it says you could have been, then you become a prohibited person for life. And his lawsuit say, wait a minute, that is unconstitutional. If we can get the courts to rule that that's unconstitutional, then the law simply goes away. And the whole idea of a prohibited person or a felon is prohibited for life goes away. And frankly, I know there are some people who disagree with me. And look, I appreciate your call, sir. I know some people disagree with me on this. But my deal is, look, if you have paid your debt to society, there's nothing left owed. You have done it, okay? And the very idea that we'd strip people of their rights for this forever is horrendous. And the very idea that would happen for misdemeanors, the Lautenberg Amendment, is awful, just a terrible thing. Many, many police officers lost their jobs after that was passed because they had some incident that happened way, way back in their past. Then all of a sudden, they can't own a gun. They can't have a gun. They can't touch a gun. Ex post facto, way back in their history. Crazy stuff. And these are the kind of lawsuits that we pursue over at the Second Amendment Foundation. We're pushing this kind of thing. We're, as we say, taking back gun rights one lawsuit at a time. I would encourage you to go take a look at what Second Amendment Foundation is doing, SAF.org. All right, we're going to enter the after show section now. Give me a call, 866-TALK-GUN. In the meantime, please go get some training. If you're carrying a gun for self-defense, you're not as good as you think you are. Take a look at my most recent column. I wrote about that exactly. We need more training. We need more practice. Be safe. Be responsible.